Imagine coding anywhere, anytime, right from your browser. Well, say hello to Visual Studio Code for the web, the even more lightweight, flexible version of your favorite code editor. So whether you're collaborating or making some quick edits, this tool brings Visual Studio Code to any device. No installation required. Let's take a look. To bring up VS Code for the web, we simply need to go to vscode.dev. And right off the bat, at the top of the screen, you'll see that you'll be prompted with a link to go to the documentations if you want to dive in deep a little bit further to read all about other details regarding VS Code for the web. And there's a couple of other links there, particularly for privacy, terms of use, and of course to download VS Code, the desktop version. But for now, let's go ahead and have a quick tour of the user interface. One thing to notice is that the menu that would normally be at the top of your screen for VS Code can be accessed with this hamburger menu here. You'll see your options for file, edit, selection, view, and so forth. Very similar to what you're used to if you've been using VS Code. Below, you'll find your icon for Explorer, which will show your files once we open up a folder, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. Your icon to search and modify files. Source control to access remote repositories. The debugging icon is here, although it is disabled for VS Code for the web at the current moment. If you wanted to have the ability to access a terminal, we have our remote tunnels icon. Remote tunnels is what you'd want to use because it's securely giving access to another computer whose terminal you'll be running your commands on. I actually created a video on remote tunnels here. And for remote debugging, we have this video here that demos it. Following that, we have our extensions icon. And then there's two more, one for accounts that you could choose to sign into, and then the other to manage some settings. Of course, we have this welcome screen right here, but if we were to close it, there'll be some common shortcuts that you can use, which is very similar to the desktop version of VS Code, but there are a couple of shortcuts that might be different. And last but not least, on the upper right-hand side, you have the option to hide or show your primary sidebar, the same for your panel. And if you want to have your secondary sidebar display, you can do that here and customize that. And for even more customization, there's the customized layout icon right here. So that's it for a quick tour. Now let's actually open up a folder and bring up some files. To open a folder, let's click on this first button here, and I will navigate down to a project directory that I already have set up called Getting Started and select that. So boom, no different than your normal VS Code experience to show your workspace and your project files. I'll click on this file here, HTML sample, and show you that by adding some code, we still have IntelliSense, even though we're on the web here. So if I wanted to add a link pointing to a style sheet, like right off the bat, I could just choose REL, enter in style sheet, and then, of course, there's my href. Just navigate down, choose that, and boom, I could paste in my URL. Now, for time's sakes, I'll paste in more references, but let's say we jump down to the body here and wanted to add a div tag. So I'll select that, close, and the ending tag automatically pops up. I have the flexibility to highlight the text that I want to move into the div tag and just boom, drag and drop. Now, maneuvers like this is not impressive if we're in a regular text editor, but the fact that we're on the web still doing this with an experience of being in a text editor is what's nice. In fact, let's say I have other code that I wanted to drag and drop into this project, like a completed version of this HTML sample. I can also do that just by bringing it right into the UI, and boom, a completed version of what we were just working on. And by the way, if you notice on the upper right hand corner here, we have our mini map, which if you want to maximize space and get rid of it for now, we could just right click and uncheck and it's gone. But if we did want it to come back, we could just go to our command palette, Command Shift P, type in mini and just bring it back. I want to go ahead and tell you that we have a brand new LinkedIn page for VS Code. So go ahead and follow us there for some original articles, for content that you won't find on YouTube, and then some additional insights on our video. And now back to our scheduled program. I've always wanted to say that. Now the next thing that I want to show is how easy it is to pull in some source code from GitHub. So if we go to source control here, open remote repository, it'll give you some options here from which you could choose open repository from GitHub. Now I should mention that you'll want to make sure that you are signed in, like I am currently here. But once you're signed in, let's say we choose from GitHub, and now I can navigate through several of my projects. So I'll go ahead and choose one of the most recent ones that I had just opened up. It's a C# project, and boom, it brings it up, and it actually opens it up right at the last file that I modified. So let's say I went ahead and made a small change here. You'll notice on the left-hand side, number 1 just showed up indicating that there was one change that was done to this file here, and just commit and push. Gives me a prompt, tell me that's going to be committed and pushed to the master. That's okay. Now another thing that I'd like to show is the use of our extensions icon here. So there are going to be some extensions that might not be available, but let's go ahead and search for one of my favorite extensions, which is called Pets. So if we scroll down, whenever you see some that are shaded out like this, that means it's not going to be available for VS Code on the web. But luckily, the one that I care about is available. So let's go ahead and install this. And because some permissions are going to be required, we want to say that we trust this extension, if we do. And in this case, I do. Now, if I go to where my files are, you'll notice at the bottom, there's an option for VS Code Pets. And boom, we have an adorable cat. I think that's a cat. And if I want, I can add more pets like a dog. Let's say a white dog. I'm fine with his name there. And there he is. So that's pretty cool. It's an extension you would think would probably only work on the full version of VS Code, but no, this works well for the web version to have some pets there to keep you company. Now this video would not be complete if it did not include the discussion of themes in VS Code. If we go to our extensions and just typed in theme, you can have several that you could choose from, but you will notice that there will be a few that might not be available for VS Code on the web, like this one right here. Material theme. But let's go ahead and choose this first one here. That's described as for those who like code late into the night. Well, let's see how that looks. Theme darker, theme flat. All right, that's something. I don't care for it that much. I know one of my favorite themes is one called Night Owl. So let's see if that's in here. And look at that, there it is. And it is available. Kind of makes it more exciting knowing that it is available for the web version. So let's go ahead and install that. And there you go. I remember this now. I'll choose plain old Night Owl Light. Actually, let's change that. I apologize to those that just went blind right now, but this is the version of Night Owl that I actually wanted to see. And there you go. Nice and easy on the eyes. And that's it. Now, just like Visual Studio Code for the desktop, the web version is constantly evolving. So make sure to stay tuned for updates and new features as they roll out. If you got some value out of this video, definitely hit that like button and subscribe to help us out on the channel. And let me know in the comments, what top features would you like to see added to VS Code for the web? Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.